Imagine you're an HR manager and you need a bunch of details from an employee. You wouldn't pull them aside and ask them four separate questions one by one, right? No, you just hand them a single clipboard to fill out all at once. Well, in Copilot Studio, we use interactive adaptive cards to do exactly that. Informational cards are fantastic for just displaying data, sure, but when we actually need to gather structured details, like for a leave request, we need an interactive form. To understand exactly how we make this shift from asking tedious single questions to presenting a complete digital clipboard, we've got to look at the specific nodes that drive the conversation. Think of the standard question node kind of like a security guard checking your ID. They ask your name, wait for an answer, then ask your destination, wait again. It's one piece of information at a time. The Ask with Adaptive Card node, on the other hand, is like handing over a fully completed visitor badge form in one go. The critical contrast here is efficiency. Technically speaking, the question node collects one value at a time, like a short text response. But, and this is huge, each question node adds an extra turn to the conversation. When you need several related values right up front, the Ask with Adaptive Card node is absolutely your go-to. The user fills in all the fields, hits submit, and the agent receives everything in a single response. So, a massive takeaway for your AB 620 exam preparation is this crucial distinction. Using the adaptive card condenses multiple conversational exchanges into a single turn, which makes the bot feel incredibly fast and responsive for routine requests. Consider a standard leave request form. You've got fields for leave type, start date, end date, and maybe a reason. Instead of firing off 4 separate chat bubbles asking for these items one by one, the employee gets a single, perfectly clean interface. It brilliantly illustrates that digital clipboard concept in action. But to actually build this single-turn experience inside Copilot Studio, we have to understand the specific building blocks used to collect that data behind the scenes. So let's break down the exact elements you're going to drag and drop into your card designer. Building this card is exactly like designing a standard intake form in a BPO or a call center environment. You need different types of input boxes depending entirely on the information you want to collect. Inside the Adaptive Card Designer, you'll find specific input elements right in your toolbox. You've got input.text for open-ended responses, like asking for a reason for the leave. You have input.date, which pops up a really nice date picker that returns a standard string of text. And then you have input.choiceSet, which renders as a drop-down or radio buttons, forcing the user to make a selection from predefined options. Now, if you are sitting for the AB620, literally circle the required property in your notes. Just like a physical form that gets flat out rejected if it's missing a signature, marking fields like your start and end dates as required prevents the user from submitting invalid or incomplete forms to your agent. Once those required fields are finally filled out, the user obviously needs a way to hand that clipboard back to us. Think of this next step like a logistics delivery box. You've packed all the items, your form fields, into the box, but you still need to tape the whole shebang up and hand it over to the courier. Every single Ask with Adaptive Card form needs an action.submit element. This is the button that packages the employee's entries and ships them back to the agent as a single data package, or payload. Now, Copilot Studio does add a default submit button automatically, but technically, you should always customize the title field in the properties to match your specific scenario. Changing a generic submit to something like submit request is just way more specific and actionable for the user. For the exam, you need to understand this exact architectural flow. The user clicks submit, the agent receives that packaged payload, maps the data, and can then immediately pass it along to a tool or API to get a result. To ensure that mapping happens correctly, though, we really need to label our data clearly. Let's compare element IDs to bank routing numbers. If a bank transfer has the wrong routing number, the money simply gets lost. Similarly, if your input elements have poor IDs, your data gets totally lost in the conversational flow. Each input element in your card has an ID property. Once a user submits the card, Copilot Studio automatically creates a topic variable based specifically on that ID. Here is a major AB620 pitfall, leaving the default IDs intact. If you just leave them as input 1, input 2, and so on, Copilot Studio generates variables named topic.input1. These are technically valid, sure, but they are incredibly hard to work with in the next steps of your bot's logic, which we call downstream nodes. Instead, you must assign highly descriptive camel case IDs, like leave type and start date. This way, you end up with clear variables like topic.leaveType that you can confidently pass to a send a message node or a backend HR system. But wait, what happens if the user decides to just walk away and never actually hands in the clipboard? An unsubmitted card is exactly like a dropped call in a BPO scenario. The customer just hangs up, and suddenly you have absolutely zero data to process. If an employee closes the card without actually clicking submit, Copilot Studio doesn't generate any values, and those output variables remain completely empty.
Architecturally, before you move from the input stage to the process stage, you absolutely must check the data. You do this by always adding a condition node immediately after an Ask with Adaptive Card node. This friendly little check ensures your required variables actually contain real values. If the variable is empty, you simply use branching to route the conversation over to a handling path, maybe gently offering to restart the form for them. If you skip this check, your bot is going to blindly expect populated variables, which causes some really confusing errors later in the conversation. Okay, so assuming they do submit, how do we handle situations where the agent might have sent multiple forms over time?
If you order 3 different packages online, logistics companies use unique tracking numbers so you know exactly which box is arriving at your door. We need to do the exact same thing with our submit buttons. If your agent sends consecutive adaptive cards, maybe for retries or to handle interruptions, a user might actually scroll up in the chat and select submit on an older card. To help your agent distinguish exactly which card a response came from, you must include a unique identifier in the JSON payload. For your certification exam, remember that you specifically include an action submit ID in the submit actions data payload. Validating this specific ID ensures your Copilot processes the response for the correct step in the conversation, not a previous one. Now let's look at how this foundational logic helps us make our forms even more intelligent and responsive to real-time data.
Hard-coded choices are kind of like a printed restaurant menu. It works perfectly fine if the dishes literally never change. But what if you need a digital specials board that updates daily? For highly stable lists, like maybe 3 standard leave categories, hard-coding the choices right in the designer is perfect. But in dynamic scenarios, the available options might need to be pulled directly from an HR system at the exact millisecond the user opens the card. To pull this off, you use PowerFX binding, which, simply put, is just a formula that points to live data. You replace the hard-coded choices in the card with this expression, pointing it to a topic variable. A massive takeaway for your certification is knowing that this variable must be a runtime table, meaning a list of data generated on the fly, and it has to be formatted with very specific title and value columns. This binding pattern is a real game changer because it allows your dropdowns to vary dynamically by user, region, or even shifting company policy. So, we've covered how to build, validate, and dynamically populate these cards, but there is one final environment variable to consider.
You now know exactly how to collect structured input with interactive forms in Copilot Studio. But here is a critical architectural question to leave you with as you prep for the exam. Will these exact same cards render consistently everywhere your employees access the agent? The truth is, adaptive card schema versions and channel-specific behaviors drastically affect rendering. How a card looks and behaves in Microsoft Teams might be completely different from how it operates on a custom web chat surface. Understanding these deployment environment constraints is the next vital step in mastering your Copilot architecture.